I'm very, very excited to be here today for Broadway World Television, because when Rob and Eddie told me that Bryan Batt was coming to town and that somebody had to interview him, I said, oh, please let me. I haven't done a lot of interviews for Broadway World. I did Leah Michelle, obviously, because we share a history, and I share a great history with Bryan. And so first we thought about doing it on Madison Avenue, the iconic, legendary location of Mad Men, the television series on AMC, that he's part of this great cast of ensemble actors that just won the Emmy Award, which I'm so excited about. But we're actually here in Sardi's with Bryan's picture here. That's something we share in common, Bryan.
I just spilled my martini all over me.
Cheers. And he's here in Sardi's because there was an episode of Mad Men that took place in Sardi's. What's the comic's name?
Oh, God.
I know. Jimmy's wife.
Yes.
She calls Don Draper from Sardi's.
Jimmy Barrett, yes.
And she goes, hi, Don, I'm here at Sardi's, surrounded by clowns. Which is the way they see theatricals, you know, and all those signs all through the years, we don't lease to theatricals, don't ever eat with actors, all these vile things that are always said about actors, and she sort of put it into that one line, and I thought it was very funny. But you're here in New York, and of course, we've known you, and I've known you for a long time.
I know.
And I feel like I discovered the series because I saw the very first episode, and when you were on it, and we talked and blah, blah, blah. But there's a number of things I want to cover, and I'm hoping to do this interview in real time so that nothing has to be edited out, because I have so many things I want to ask Bryan that we haven't had time to talk about over these past year and a half. And we know him from Broadway, but I went to your website, which is what?
www.bryanbatt.com.
Right,
Bryan with a Y.
And his Bryan is with a Y, which CNN made that terrible mistake with an I. There you are. You get this great feature on CNN, and they spell it Bryan which is a
I've gotten Bryan Batt too. A lot of times they put Bryan Batt.
But luckily,
not true.
Google will sort of say, "Did you mean
right?" Oh, that's good
right?
to know.
And so they do the thing.
That's nice.
But you've done more Broadway shows than even I realized. And if you go to his website, it's really well laid out. People have websites and websites, but all the playbills are there, and you can get production. Like, who did that for you?
Nancy Rosati.
Right.
I met her when I was doing Scarlet Pimpernel, and she said, you should have a website, and she designed this website, and we've become friends ever since, and she really is great, and that's her new business. She is doing a lot more websites, so people want to check out my website, and she also did my store.
Oh, wow.
www.hazelnutneworleans.com. She's quite
Go to the website, because it really is, you'll have a good time, and I don't want to waste time on the Broadway part of his career, but you could have been a sort of joke, you know, the chorus boy joke, you know, and you were an understudy, you were a replacement, all those things. And, you know, I've been around now 33 years, and a lot of people want to go to Hollywood, or they go, oh, it's pilot season, I'm going to L.A., but your story is like a little different, and so just, I mean, and I want to sort of focus a little different than the things that have been written, because you've been in the New York Times, I think, 6 times this year.
Yeah, quite a few times.
For being at home at the store in New Orleans with your partner, Tom.
Right.
For Mad Men. You were in the New York Times Magazine in a spread, like, full on. I want to get to the Alex Winchell story.
Alex Winchell, yeah.
Stuff like that. But just tell us, so you decided to leave New York, and just tell us that part of the story.
I was doing, actually, the Moby Dick thing with for Cameron.
Right.
And we did the recording, we did all these workshops, and then it just got tabled. And I, you know, hadn't auditioned that much, and I thought, my partner and I had this back in our head that we wanted to open up a shop in New Orleans. And when that got tabled, I just said, now, let's do it right now.
That's because New Orleans is actually your home.
That's my hometown.
Right,
all my family's there. And you know, New York is so saturated, and we found a niche that we really filled there. And now it's pretty much nationwide. We've been in House Beautiful and the New York Times and a lot of magazines.
Bernadette tried to go to your store when she was there on the last time when you were closed on the Sunday.
I'm so sorry.
Everybody, not to name drop. Ooh, did I drop a name?
Pick it up. Oh, Jane Krakowski, she was there, yeah. Funny story with her at the Emmys. But anyway, so we decided to do it. You know, I believe when a window opens up, you got to jump out of it. So I did, and I was a nervous wreck when we were opening, because all I knew was the theater at that time and acting, and I'd wake up.
Was it like hard to just say goodbye, New York? And
well, we never did, because we kept our place.
Oh, I see.
And
okay.
The deal was that I would come down and help open the store and get it going for a year, and then I would be able to do whatever I wanted theatrically and go back and forth. And Tom, we're trying to have enough help that Tom can come up here a lot more. That was the deal, and as it worked out,
Tom was a performer also.
Yes, he was.
And you guys met actually, I think, in Forever Plaid. Is that correct?
No, we met doing a Vita.
Oh, you met doing a
at
Vita
the Carousel Dinner Theater, beautiful
Carousel Dinner
Akron,
Theater.
Ohio. Yes, they had a wonderful.
We all
drink.
come from somewhere.
So they what? Yeah, we had a wonderful drink on at the bar, the brass ring bar. It was called the Chazam or the Casa Rosada Colada.
All right.
It was.
And
Anyway,
that's what did it.
That's what did it. One night.
Yeah.
Well, it was also Akron, but he's very
Casa
special.
Rosada Colada.
19 years. Anyway, yeah, on that note, I hope I don't spill it. But we opened the store, and the minute I did that, all these other little things started coming about. And I was doing a play for John Epperson, who had written this crazy version of Medea called Medea.
John Epperson, who we know as Lip Synca.
Yes. And ended up doing the play with Nancy Opal. I'd done all the readings, and I played another character, but then I moved up to playing the Jason part, Gator. It was I told him, I said, I know these people. I went to school with them. I can talk just like them.
Right.
Anyway, long story short, too late. I had an audition for, my agent's called, for this show called Mad Men. And now here's another side story. My godchild, when Katrina hit New Orleans, we were out of town. We could not get back. My godchild boarded up the store, boarded up our house, and drove my mother to Texas.
Wow.
So we said, how do we pay her back? How can you? We're taking her to Paris. So we made,
remember that.
We made the arrangements, and the audition came up right when we were going to be in Paris. And I said, no, I'm not changing my life for show business. You know, not this. This is too important. They didn't.
It probably didn't seem realistic, right?
I've never
Me in a television series. Like, what are the chances?
Anything like that.
Okay, this is good.
You know,
this is a very good tale to understand.
And for the first time in my life, I chose, you know, life instead of show business. And as it turned out, they did not find who they wanted. And while I was doing the rehearsals for this play for John Epperson, they called and said, will you come in? And I did, and got it, and shot it the day we started previews.
You were originally going to be seen for Salvatore?
Yes.
That was one of the questions I want to ask, because very often you'll audition for a series for one role, and they see you as another.
John Slattery was up with Don Draper, and then they found John Hamm, and
Now, was the character gay when it was written?
If I remember correctly, the description of the character is, sophisticated, suave art director, clearly gay to a modern audience.
You read it on the page, and did it jump at you? Did you understand the level of malaise and the glamour of Madison Avenue? And
no, I really didn't.
You didn't see
it. Looked at it, went, okay, I can do this. Went in. It was like on a lunch break from rehearsals. I threw on a tie, slicked the hair, and went in.
And who did you read with? Did you read with the stage manager?
No, it was Matthew Weiner. It was
Matthew Weiner.
Matthew Weiner, Alan Taylor, who's our Emmy Award-winning director,
right?
And the casting directors. Two guys. It was 4 people in the room, and a camera. And I got a call 2 days later that I had booked it, and I was in shock because that does not happen that way.
Everybody's so proud of you. We're like so excited for you. It's like thrill having you back. And also, just New Orleans. You share New Orleans with a lot of people. Felicia Finley. Who else is your friends from New Orleans? There are a lot of people.
Leslie Castay, who used to live here, was in Beauty and the Beast and a bunch of shows. She's there too. There are a lot of New Orleans people up here, but now I go back and forth.
And we called you when we were worried about this last storm.
Yes, it was so sweet of you.
We called Felicia as well. Actually, the 3 of us called.
That was great. It was really petrifying.
Yeah, it's like, why get hit again?
But they got the evacuation done properly. Everyone got out.
Now, in Katrina, did your store hold up?
Yeah, my store was fine.
Really?
We were very lucky. We were very quick to open up. In fact, I organized right after that to help. We got back, and you see the city, and the flooded area was just awful. But the area that didn't flood, it was still a lot of trees down, and it looked like, a war had gone on. And a war had, literally.
And you've done a lot to raise awareness. You've done a lot to raise money.
And
you do a lot for Broadway Cares. I know you do the auction every year.
I couldn't do it this year because it was the Emmys, but I'm doing the teddy bear if they want me to.
Now, do you feel psychotic now, divided? So now it's really New Orleans, New York, LA. What does that feel like now?
It is within, I think, within the next 2-week period, I have 10 flights for different events and stuff like that. And I've just recently kind of gotten my fear of flying under it. It helps with vodka.
So when you come to town, do you make your phone calls and you're going to have drinks with this one and see this show and see friends and this and that?
I'm going to see Billy Elliot, I think, tomorrow.
Which is fantastic.
I cannot wait.
Billy Elliot is so fantastic. You will jump for joy out of your seat and be in tears. It's just fantastic.
It was such a great
You're going to cry your eyes out. Forget Cassie's Dance. There's a whole new thing. Forget it.
There's so many shows I want to see. I want to see, what's the other?
And how do you get your information now? I mean, besides BroadwayWorld, obviously, you go online.
I go online to BroadwayWorld, and the New York Times, I still get that delivered every day.
I am all about that New York Times. Delivery, home delivery, not online. Home delivery. You got to have a hard...
Eastern Seaboard liberal media.
See who's taking it. Also, sometimes there's pictures in color in the paper.
Yes.
They're in black and white online, and vice versa, right?
I don't get that.
Because I forward you stuff.
Yes.
I don't know. We don't get that, New York Times. Can you explain that to us?
Jazz up, your New York Times.
But so obviously, so you're in the successful thing. I saw you. There you were, front page again, New York Times, Entertainment.
For the Emmy.
You win the Emmy. I mean, come on.
It was
If
the
that's
most
a real
exciting
acting
moment.
ensemble, January Jones, I would die to be married to her.
She's
you know,
gorgeous.
I
She's
mean,
gorgeous.
it's I've never seen Ennui portray. I mean, you know, the whole
Yeah.
cast, everybody.
At the Emmys, she had an $800,000 worth of diamonds. that
Really?
she borrowed. I know that's trivial, but I kind of like
It doesn't interest me as much as her dining room and the broken chair.
Yes, yeah.
And the children and the cigarettes and
this-
the comedian and the whole thing.
Oh, and
but
the
the
plays.
cast and the story you don't know much about. I imagine it's like any series where it's all top secret.
It's all top secret, but we we shot it and we read it, but we really didn't know up until the season finale what was going to happen. We couldn't guess. We did not know. No one was talking until we sat down at the table and read the script. It was
Now, I
really
want you to
exciting.
tell directly to the camera, this is just a great story for New Yorkers. Alex Witchell, who writes for the New York Times, went to Los Angeles and did that great New York Times Magazine piece, which we talked about at
Yeah.
length. And they were told on the set that Alex was coming from the New York Times. He had no idea who came on the set, who wrote that thing about Matthew's
Well, they didn't say-
secretiveness, the whole
right.
thing. But tell the story and the payoff, because for a theater person, and of course in LA, actors love theater and they love doing theater in their free time. It's still the thing that gets their blood going. For managers and agents and all that kind of stuff, it's nothing because it doesn't bring money, and we understand this because you can't compare with the money of television
It's
and
crazy.
films and all that.
Well,
but just
basically
tell,
you can. No,
yes, but just tell that little great story of what happened at the end of the whole thing, however you want to tell it.
Well,
Tell it to the camera because
I didn't know
I
it
lived
was-
for this story.
I didn't know it was Alex Witchell that was coming, and we were all introduced to her, and she was following Matthew around and observing on set and writing. And one day she came up to me and she said, "I just have to tell you, I loved your performance in Jeffrey." And it has stayed with me for years. And I just said, "Well, God, thank you so much." And then I read the article and I go, "Oh my God, that was the
It's Alex Witchell, yeah, who's a very potent writer, but
Brilliant
how
writer.
fantastic to be on a set of all those great actors and have her come aside and say that story
It
like
made my-
spoke reams to
well,
me.
that
Yeah, you must have burst. I would have burst into tears.
I almost did it, but when I found out it was her, I couldn't believe I didn't have, I didn't put the face to, and she's lovely. God, was she lovely.
Now you have a fellow Mad Men cast member on Broadway right now in Speed the Plow.
Yes, Elizabeth
Are you-
Moss.
are you gonna get to
I'm
see
going
her?
to opening night.
You are. When is opening?
The 23rd. That's
Oh,
another
great.
one of my trips. You have to keep on doing some other things. I'm going to do my one-man show again
Right.
that I did down at the Metropolitan Room.
Right.
One of the
What-
Bistro Awards.
What was that? Because I didn't.
I
Really
called it
wasn't
Bryan
here.
Batt Live from the Met because it was
Right.
the Metropolitan Room, and then
Right.
I did it a lot of it in New Orleans to raise money for Katrina at a wonderful.
Was this the one you were thinking about calling Bat Out of Hell?
Bat Out of Hell? Yeah.
Right. Now tell me another thing. So we were emailing once or talking on the phone. I can't remember. And you were talking about doing Les Mis in New Orleans. Did you go
Yes.
visit MTI or what's happened with all
I
of
was
that?
told that we can't get the rights until.
Why is that?
I don't know. I think there's a tour out, and I think, but it's never. It can't come to New Orleans. It can't. There's no way it can come. There's no theater that has been
So
renovated.
really, and this is
Taken.
from MTI. You heard this?
Yeah.
Really?
I
And were
know.
you going to direct it?
No, I was going to help produce with this theater because at the time I never know when I'm
Right.
in and out.
Well, I'll see if I can't help with that
Please,
a little bit.
you.
I'll see
Come
if I
on,
can,
don't do
if I
that.
can make a.
You make a call.
A
Kevin
phone call
Collins
or
let us. You
something.
went. Kevin Collins let us. We were the first theater. After that, we opened
I'm
the season
surprised.
with Rand.
I mean, there are underlying situations that
course.
maybe we don't know about. 'Cause
Well,
I remember this went down once with somebody that tried to get me to help them with Jesus Christ Superstar. They didn't know if there was going to be a show looking for the cast. So you're here in New York for how long?
I'm here till Monday. My Tom, my mother, my nieces, and my cousin are coming up for the weekend.
The news that you got Hannah Montana tickets?
Yes, this man got me tickets to Hannah Montana
For?
from
It
my
was
niece.
hair raising.
It was
We almost didn't have them. There were phone calls involved at
like
showtime.
at the box office. They're picking them up, and there's my niece.
We can
I
get
told
tickets
we
to
had
just
tickets.
about anything, and it was
But Hannah
really
Montana.
hard to get tickets to Hannah Montana. Happy 16th birthday, Miley Cyrus. I saw you on Entertainment Tonight
Oh,
Insider. I watch
yes.
television.
Happy birthday! I can't wait to see
Now
you, Ophelia.
Are you wrapped for the season? Did you say you can't wait to see her play Ophelia?
Yeah.
Bartender, can I get another drink, please? I hope I'm not around that long.
Paris Hilton as Lady.
There you go. But how long are you in town for?
I'm in town on Monday. We leave Monday, and we're going to see Mary Poppins with
Right.
the kids, and then I'm taking them to Wicked because they we've got girls. That
Oh, I
see
know. You have
Wicked.
to take the nieces to Wicked
Got
because you'll
to
cry.
Wicked.
Have you seen it with your nieces yet?
No.
You will cry.
Really?
Yeah. When I took them and they were standing screaming at the end of Act 1, I was in tears watching them mouth the words. It's like religion. It's a fantastic
I
thing.
cry at the just. I mean, what did I was crying at what show? I was seeing.
I cry a lot lately.
I
Because
did.
we're older.
I don't know.
I noticed you're letting your hair go gray. I still believe in hair color.
Well, they dyed it for the show, and it had just a little gray hair.
I saw that.
And when it would come out. It was a mess. I just said, just cut it off and let me see what it looks like.
Age is doing you well. You're still very handsome.
Oh, why? Thank you.
There you go.
Yeah, I bathe in formaldehyde, but I also use lots of eye cream.
He does stand up. We got to go see his act.